Have you ever looked at your bank account the day after payday and wondered, how did I already lose half my paycheck? You pay rent, you buy groceries, you fill up your car. Maybe you cover childcare, insurance, or debt payments. Then something unexpected happens. A flat tire, a medical bill, or your washing machine suddenly decides it's done with life, and suddenly you're counting the days until the next paycheck again. Most people think life gets easier when they earn six figures. But here's the thing. That's not actually how it works. Some people earn $40,000 a year and sleep peacefully every night. Others make $250,000 and constantly feel broke. So today, we're going to answer one question that almost everyone asks, but very few people answer correctly. How much money do you actually need before life starts feeling easier? Because the answer isn't what social media tells you. My name is Leonard, and I spend way too much time thinking about the how much money do you need before life gets easier? The real numbers? If you're someone who feels like no matter how much you earn, there's never enough left at the end of the month, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Look, money absolutely solves problems, but it doesn't solve every problem. And one of the biggest financial mistakes people make is believing that one magical salary will suddenly make them happy forever. Today, we're going to break down the real numbers, the psychology behind financial stress, and exactly what milestones actually make life easier. Let's start with the first one. The first number that changes everything. Here's what most people don't realize. Life doesn't suddenly become easier because you earn more. Life becomes easier because you create breathing room. According to multiple financial wellness surveys, nearly 60% of Americans still live paycheck to paycheck, even many earning well over $100,000 annually. Read that again. Some people are making six figures, and they're still financially stressed. Why? Because expenses usually rise right alongside income. Economists call this lifestyle inflation. I call it the invisible thief. Imagine carrying a bucket with a hole in the bottom. Making more money is like pouring more water into the bucket. But if the hole gets bigger every time your income increases, the bucket never fills. The $2,000 buffer. So what's the first real number? Around $2,000 in easily accessible savings. Not invested, not tied up in retirement, just cash. Here's why. Let's say your transmission fails. Repair bill, $1,800. Without savings, that becomes credit card debt, interest payments, stress, anxiety, months of financial recovery. With savings, it's still annoying. But it's no longer a financial disaster. That's a completely different life. Notice something? Nothing about your income changed. Only your financial cushion did. This is where it gets really interesting. People often chase higher salaries before fixing smaller financial leaks. Let's compare two people. Sarah earns $55,000. She has no debt except her mortgage, 6 months of emergency savings, and invests every month. Mike earns $110,000. He finances everything: luxury SUV, expensive apartment, credit card balances, personal loans. Who sleeps better? Usually Sarah. Why? Because financial freedom isn't measured by income. It's measured by how many months you could survive if your paycheck disappeared tomorrow. That's the number that changes your emotional relationship with money. The emergency fund that buys peace. Now you might be thinking, 3 to 6 months of expenses sounds impossible. I get it. Let's do the math. Suppose your monthly expenses are rent, $1,500, food, $600, utilities, $250, transportation, $400, insurance, $250, other essentials, $500. Total, $3,500 per month. 3 months equals $10,500. 6 months equals $21,000. That's not exciting. Nobody posts emergency funds on Instagram, but psychologically, it's one of the biggest confidence boosters you can ever build. Because fear loses power when you're prepared. The income number. Everyone gets wrong. Here's the number people obsess over. How much do I need to earn? Well, research on happiness and income has shown that financial well-being generally improves as income rises, especially when basic needs are securely met. More recent studies suggest there's no single universal income where happiness suddenly stops increasing. It depends heavily on your location, cost of living, relationships, health, and financial habits. Here's the key point. The goal isn't chasing some universal salary. It's earning enough to comfortably cover your needs, your savings, your investments, and a little room to enjoy life. That's it. If those 4 boxes are checked, life starts feeling dramatically easier. Why more money doesn't always feel better? Here's where psychology completely changes the conversation. Your brain adapts incredibly quickly. It's called hedonic adaptation. Remember your first apartment? You loved it. Then 6 months later, it felt normal. The same thing happens with raises. A $10,000 raise feels amazing for about 3 months. Then your new normal arrives. Your expectations rise, your spending rises, your happiness quietly resets. That's why some people making millions still feel financially anxious. Their expectations simply keep growing faster than their income. The freedom formula. Here's a much better target. Instead of asking, "How much money do I need?" ask, "How much freedom do I want?" Freedom means choosing work you enjoy, taking vacations without guilt, helping family members, sleeping peacefully, leaving a toxic job, taking a career break, starting a business. Those things require flexibility, not necessarily luxury. And flexibility comes from assets, not expensive purchases. Here's a simple example. Imagine 2 people each earning $80,000. Person A spends $79,500 every year. Person B spends $55,000 after taxes and investing. Person B builds wealth much faster. Within several years, they have investments generating income. Now something amazing happens. Their money starts working. Instead of trading every hour for dollars, their dollars begin producing more dollars. That's the point where life truly starts getting easier, because your income no longer depends entirely on your time. 3 numbers that actually matter. Forget chasing random salary goals. Focus on these instead. Number 1, have $2,000 available for unexpected emergencies. Number 2, build 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Number 3, invest enough every month that your future self keeps getting richer while you sleep. Those 3 milestones reduce financial stress far more than simply earning another $20,000 and spending all of it. The biggest financial lie. Look, society constantly tells us, buy the bigger house, upgrade the car, get the newest phone, take the luxury vacation. But here's what most people don't realize. Every new monthly payment steals a little bit of your future freedom. Every investment buys some of it back. That's why wealthy people often appear surprisingly ordinary. They're buying freedom, not appearances. Action steps you can start today. So what should you do after watching this? First, calculate your monthly essential expenses, not your wants, your necessities. Second, figure out exactly how much your emergency fund should be. Write the number down. Third, automate even a small amount into savings every payday. Even $50 or $100 consistently matters. Fourth, whenever you receive a raise, increase your investments before increasing your lifestyle. That one habit alone can completely change your financial future. Look, life doesn't suddenly become easy because your paycheck gets bigger. Life gets easier because your financial stress gets smaller, because your savings grow, because your investments grow, because your confidence grows. The real number isn't a salary. It's the point where money stops controlling every decision you make. That's financial freedom. And the good news? You don't need to become a millionaire before you start feeling it. You just need to make enough smart decisions consistently over time. If this video helped change the way you think about money, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who's constantly chasing a bigger paycheck but never feels ahead. Because sometimes the biggest financial breakthrough isn't earning more. It's finally understanding what enough actually looks like. And once you know that number, everything starts to change.